What is this? Let's see and find out. See what happens. All right, now I can get to some freaking typing. Glorious me once again. Making all kind of noises because girl. Okay, perfect. Nothing. All right. Really? Was it? Dead body and disposal practices. I don't know why it doesn't stick. But wipes. Someone dies in alien societies. There is an assumption that something must happen with the body. Various biological processes begin. Organs produce various gases and decompose slowly or more quickly depending on location. But typically dead human bodies are not left lying around decomposing. Bodies are washed is to erase it from culture. What y'all saying? I'm having a bad day. I'm sorry. The day just started. It's March the 1st. That's a horrible way to begin. I don't know if I believe you or not. The day literally just started like an hour ago. We're willfully to desecrate and mutilate it is to erase it from culture and from the human community. That and almost universal response that something needs to be done with the body. This response is grounded that a person belonged to. The dead body is often met with discomfort, and this is reflected in the way it has been theorized. Hope you have a better day. 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 Better days. See better days. I recommend listening to the Tupac song Better Days. Since whomever said that, D. Trafton, listen to Tupac's song Better Days. Better days, better days, better days. Hey, better days. Still searching for a better day. Better day, better day, better day. Hey, I think he had a whole album called Better Days. Its initial silence and subsequent decay enshrined Washing and dressing, a practice widespread in North America, is the process of embalming, which is a way of treating the body to keep it fresher for longer by inserting chemicals into the body. While embalming has a long history, the practice became common in the United States because of the American Civil War, 1861 through 1865. Dead soldiers needed to be preserved for their transport back home, and that coming from? Jeez, oh, please. Oh my god, I'm so good. My hair is itching. What emerged from 19th? Just mechanical labor. Wait, what emerged from 19th century? Mechanical. They spell mechanical tip. Wait, mechanical. They spell it different. I guess in the UK. Modern dead body that required embalmed vision to be seen in proper context in state of vitality. Basically, because they were infusing the body. Because at one point in time, obviously in a lot of different cultures, it was like more of a purification ritual. So this is why I believe he defined embalming as they didn't want to disclose the chemicals that was in there because the chemicals will like just juxtapose basically the cleansing ritual basically that a lot of cultures generally went through with washing and cleansing and healing and repairing the body. But now it says as we moved to the 19th century, the course is now like this modern dead body that required to be embalmed. Like it socially, it had to be given in a context that it was given vitality, that it would live forever, or just look good basically for the funeral, only for the purposes of the funeral and the burial. Okay, all right. So moving on, it says that um, embalming preserves bodies and shields mourners from the perhaps more. I knew that's exactly what I was just saying. Embalming preserves bodies and shields mourners from the perhaps more unpleasant realities of decomposing. Can 2018 notes that the continued popularity of embalming in the United States is mainly due to the funeral industry and its marketing. That's what I just said. The corpse is presented as potentially unhygienic and a danger to society. See, whilst the dead body is presented as a potential hazard, it is the process of embalming that requires highly toxic chemicals that require the wearing of complete body protection and respirator dam. Embalming makes the viewing of the body more flexible, as the body will be better preserved and there will be fewer changes of unwanted noises and movements compared to what? Compared to uninvolved corpse. This is weird as hell. That is just all excuses of selling it to the public. Embalming makes the viewing of the body more flexible. Wow. As the body will be better preserved and there will be fewer changes of unwanted noises and movement compared to unembalmed corpse. Weird. Can notes that while many people believe embalming is an essential part of funeral services, Many consumers do not know the real reason they are being offered the service, which is its significant profit margin. Okay, yeah, okay. So, despite being popular, embalming is not universally practiced in the United States. Notes that Jewish people do not embalm the body, nor do they view it, as they find it disrespectful to the deceased. Similarly, Islam also rejects embalmment, and as in Buddhism and Hinduism, most people prefer to be cremated, and embalmment is not part of these rites. Buddhists believe that the soul lingers near the body for days following the death, and therefore absolute respect must be given to the body, and the body should be treated as if it is still alive. Consequently, embalmment does not happen, as Jews, Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists residing in the United States tend to reject embalming practices. This practice cannot be solely understood as part of the United States cultural geography or its social cultural influence. Similarly, it cannot be understood to be directly linked to Christian belief systems, as many Catholics and Protestants living in Europe and Latin America do not use embalmment. Interesting. I didn't know that. I, huh. So you mean to tell me it solely came out of the American Civil War? Weren't those people like the melting pot of Europe? I maybe they just came. Yeah, okay. Anyway, let me see what I was about to write. Consequently, embalmment does not happen, as Jews, Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists residing in the United States tend to reject embalming practices. This practice cannot be solely understood as part of the United States cultural geography or social cultural influence. Similarly, it cannot be understood to be directly linked to Christian belief systems, as many Catholics and Protestants living in Europe and Latin America do not use embalmment. be solely understood. As part of the United States, the U.S.'s cultural geography or its socio-cultural influence. US's cannot be solely understood as part of the US's cultural geography or its socio-cultural influence. Okay, what time is it? It's 1:53. Why are you whispering about dead bodies? Are you some wannabe serial killer? Cannot be solely understood as part of the U.S.'s cultural geography or its socio-cultural influence. Cannot be understood directly. As many Catholics and Protestants living in Europe and Latin America do not use embalmment. This is all coming from CAN 2018 CANN. Alrighty. So now they're going to move on to the burial purpose. That was preparing the body for disposal. So we understood how and why the body and how many different cultures prepare the body. I even off topic, but on topic took a class. What was it called? I don't know, the anthrobiological some shit. And it was just all about the burial ritual practices of ancient Egypt. It was just so good. It was a good class. It was very good. So we know the rites of cleansing. So they don't talk about the rites of cleansing here. They talk about just of preserving the body for the looks, right? For the sake of the funeral, for the sake of the look of the person, to preserve their vanity. So now we're about to move on to this little sub chapter called burial. So let's see what the burial process. The burial process is. We're probably gonna talk about cremation and different cultures on burial. Tra la la. Burial is a form of bodily disposal. Burial is a form of bodily disposal where a body is placed into the ground, sometimes with objects. It can also be referred to as interment or inhumation. What? Interment? It can also be referred to as interment or inhumation. I've never heard of inhumation before. That is the rating. Let me write that down. me see something. Cremation. The places where corpses are buried are often referred to as burial grounds, which is a generic term that refers to any place where burial takes place. There is a lot of terminology that is used to describe burial spaces, including church yards, cemeteries, and graveyards. These terms all have different meanings but are often taken for granted and not explained in the literature. Human bodies are typically buried horizontally, yet there are also examples of corpses buried vertically. What the fuck? I don't even know what horizontally or vertically. Huh. Hold on. There is a lot of terminology that is used to describe burial spaces, including churchyards, cemeteries, and graveyards. Oh, maybe those depict on how the body is buried vertical or horizontally. Okay, these terms all have different meanings but are often taken for granted and not explained in the literature. Human bodies are typically buried horizontally, yet there are also examples of corpses buried vertically. Archaeological evidence show that some form of burial practices have existed for as long as there have been humans around. It is sometimes difficult to deduce what types of rituals, if any, were used around burials. Archaeologists disagree about the meaning of specific ancient sites where human remains have been found, whether remains were placed there initially or ended up there accidentally. Roberts 22 notes that even if we do not know what past people were thinking when they performed rites, the practice themselves speak of some sort of symbolic thinking, some sort of appreciation of the difference between being alive and being dead, the meaning of loss, the importance of ritual. Burial, oh my goodness, burial practices depend on people's beliefs, not least their beliefs about their afterlife. Burial is considered a final resting place in some locations, whereas in other places the plot will be exhumed after a certain amount of time. Oh my god. I don't really care about archaeologists and what they argue. They're always going to disagree and argue, okay, about funerary practices and rites. Moving on. Okay, so what did we get out of burial? Because they want to move on to cremation. I wanted to know the difference between a cemetery and churchyard, and I want to know the difference in the languages between those, but they didn't talk about it yet. So we just write here that there is a lot of terminology not explained in the literature. Hmm. Weird. Then why did I even bring it up? Burial practices depends on people's beliefs, not least their beliefs about their afterlife. Hmm. Burial is considered a final resting place in some location, whereas in other places the plot will be exhumed after a certain amount of time. Some sort of appreciation of the differences between being alive and being dead, the meaning of loss, the importance of ritual. The importance of ritual. Hmm. All right. Burial practices depend on people's beliefs, not least their beliefs about the afterlife. Hmm. Okay, got it. They must mean now, though. Burial practices depend on people's beliefs, not least their beliefs about the afterlife. Huh. Okay, so moving on to cremation. Another form of bodily disposal is cremation. This is a means of body disposal through burning. While the presence of burial sites, graves, and human remains reveal that burial practices have occurred for thousands of years, it is more difficult to find archaeological evidence of other means of disposal, such as cremation, as these practices leave fewer traces. While cremation has been an integral way of bodily disposal in some parts of the world, it has been fiercely rejected in others. In the religious tradition of Buddhism, Hinduism, and I think that's Sikhism, Sikhism. It's like, no, I was thinking of Sudanese. I don't know. Let me see what the hell this is. Sikhism. Oh, that means I have to move. S I K. Wait, SIKH. SIKH is oh, India. Why do you pronounce it? A 15th century monotheist monotheistic faith founded by Guru Nanak. I've heard of him. Punjab, India, emphasizing equality, honest work, and service to humanity. It is one God, belief in one formless, timeless creator who exists in all creation, equality and justice, rejections of caste, class, and gender discrimination, promoting equality for all human beings. Wow. Three pillars, Naham Jampana meditation, Karak Kahani honest living, and Vahan Shakaho sharing with others. Goal of life to break the cycle of reincarnation. Oh, wow. By overcoming ego and uniting with God. Ooh, come through, Ashe. Service, actively serving humanity and the community. They got their own, the Guru granted Sahib, which is treated as the living Guru and contains hymns from the Gurus and saints of other faiths. And see, this is how you create your own Bible and your own belief in your own way of giving back. Okay. I just want to know how you pronounce it though, so let me see it right quick. In English. I didn't hear it.
Sikhism.
Sikhism? You gotta be kidding me. Sikhism? How do you say it in what in Buddhism? I don't know how do you say it in India. Sikhism. I have to sign in to no really freaking TikTok just to listen to how you properly. Okay, whatever. Sikhism. Sikhism. That is a 15th century. Ooh. Monotheistic faith. All right now. Okay, moving on. Cremation. I'm about to get off here in a second before I get too hungry. Some parts of the should get some cereal. Oh my. Okay. Let's see here. And in some parts of the world. It has been first. That's different. Okay. Buddhism, Hinduism, and Sikhism. Sikhism. What? Okay, I must have. In the religious tradition of Buddhism, Hinduism, and Sikhism, cremation is favored over burial. Oh, I said that wrong. I was thinking it wrong. Christianity, for a very long time, has condemned the use of cremation as a means of body disposal. In many places in the world where burial used to be the typical way of disposal, cremation has slowly made way. These changes to cremation have been adopted for a range of reasons, including the scarcity of land and the cost of burial, okay, and changing beliefs around memorials and remembering, as some people feel they do not need a physical site of the grave to remember their dead. Ashe. They do, they don't. Kind of both. You can make your own site. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion. All right. Oh my goodness. Changing beliefs around memorials. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, what is this? Some horror movie just came on. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I was reading these words. They held prostitutes, orphans, abuse. What the hell's going on? Let me pay attention to this. What's on my computer? Because they were talking about the same thing. I looked over to the TV and there's a bunch of nuns on here and they talking about 200 years or something. All right, let me finish up this here. Okay. Are you? Oh, same message they had before. Oh, these changes to cremation have been adopted for a range of to remember. Okay. phone died, and I just put down a chapter in the book. I'll get back to it in a couple hours. It didn't seem to be too interesting anyway, because, which I'm glad that they don't go too much into the historical fucking representation of burials and cremation. They're just trying to get us to why we bereave in the way that we do based on certain outfits that are set up. Anyhow, I'm over here watching some very strange, looking at this movie. Probably gonna turn it or go to sleep. I don't know. Actually, I'm about to just turn it off. It's weird. One thing I get from these religious outfits is that they are fucking, they work in the inverse completely and 100%, as they are seen as holy and thou. But what's really not being seen or uncovered is the unholiness. Basically, they work all in inverse. And when I look at these Catholic nuns and these priests, all I see are they come with these smiling bright faces, but all I just see is like torment and treacher. Like, man, you know that movie, the horror movie, The Nun? That's how I see most nuns. And I've worked with nuns before in different institutions. I didn't get that vibe from what I see. I guess, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm just watching this movie. But from what I hear, people who went to Catholic institutions in school, monasteries, and all that, it was nothing but torture. Okay. Nothing but torture, nothing but CSA, nothing but abuse from every person, especially from men. Especially from men. And I've talked to a lot of older men who went to these establishments, even here in Oregon, who got cases on or who have been still told about their CSA in these Catholic schools. It is dominant, all right? But that could be in any religious outfit that hide underneath power and structured guise of a god, right? Yeah, that's a cover up, because what's going on that's not being seen is fulfill other things. They're all tied with the state. They're all tied with the globalization. These religious fashions, you would think that they're separate, but no, they're all tied into chains. They're all tied into the abuse of all. They all go together. It's not separate. It's a structure. It's a setting. It's a model. Anyhow, I'm about to turn away from here. I'm going to put on some thunder and lightning. Attempt to go to sleep. Maybe, I don't know. I just don't want to look at it. Zoom, 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 zoom. So I'm trying to stay focused. And I don't want to analyze these MFers and then have me thinking about the movie The Nun, which I never even watched it, but I would just have to analyze it in my mind, and I don't care to analyze. These media freakers, their spirits want me to have them on my conscious, and I don't give a freak about them. Oh. Anyway, I had a few lives set up, and just to be honest, I just have a lot of schooling on the forefront, and I need to get done with that. I think I like 2 more weeks, and I can relieve the mental from thinking about what I'm going to write, how I'm going to write, how many, it's a bunch of bullcrap. Free the chains of academia. Be free. Be free from. Okay, I need a dark screen. my gosh, I turn on YouTube. There's been a lot of different, like, this time not only reminds me of like October, November, October, December season, what's going on right now, although we're like ramping around the corner for like spring, like this new year. They're really trying to get people off track with new spring and new year, as a lot of people I've seen this year we're talking about, oh, well, spring is not till March. Okay, each year more and more people are just aware of like the abundance that comes like in spring and March, the first day of spring, and not necessarily the first day of um the year, right? The new year. That's like false and fake. Each year I've been able to see and observe how more people are celebrating spring as being the new year. Okay. So with that being said, the quote unquote powers that be are in realization of that. So they're going to send as many so called lightning bolts, right? So the feeling at the same time, like I was getting spring in January, right? Um, but like it's another energy that's emerged at this time where it feels like it's um, October, where it feels like it's December, where it feels like there's the cold and flu season, okay? But also, what was it? Ah, okay. In October, right? October always feels like this Frankenstein kind of energy. This like transformation, right? Bringing forth from the dead, or all those deep emotions that are being transformed into like this new body, this new person, this new being. But it comes from like not chaos, but from this deep, depth, watery source, right? That, you know what I'm saying? That is just hella fucking emotional, but deep within, like passionate, deep within their emotions. Hmm. So the energy of October and transformation is like so big right now, because transformation also is that number nine energy all over again. Like, why are they trying to replay like the number 9 year? Okay. Like this ripping and tearing transformation. That's what they're trying to replay. That's what they're trying to ramp right now. This ripping and tearing transformation. Don't make me pull a card. Okay. Because I already know what's going to come up. It's going to be Oya, because that's what the energy is giving right now. Ripping and tearing is what the powers are trying to, they are vamping up right now. All right. So, with them offsetting like the abundance in spring, like, why when you turn on YouTube, all of a sudden people are relaying deaths? I think I've seen 3 different content creators this month relating to some form of death, right? Legitimate deaths. At this time, at this point, at this time, and crazy. 3 different, I'm pretty sure there's more, but there's 3. Okay, so there's the 3 again. There's the 3 again. There's 3. But there is something else, because we're supposed to be in this 1 and 0, 10 energy, but they're ramping this transformation, ripping and tearing energy at the same time, because people are more aware of this abundance frequency of spring, fertility, and abundance here, like on the rise around the corner. So they want to try to get you back in a time machine. They want you back in the number 9 year transformation. They want you to be in your deep, emotional, watery Frankenstein. Oh, I'm born out of emotions and I need some kind of way to balance it. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, me personally, I had to reset some lives only just to, because I'm just going to let things stew and play out. We're going to see how people are utilizing their spiritual technology, their own sense of spiritual technology, instead of just talking about it all the time. Let's see what the frequency is going to read here around spring or not. If people really been tapped into their uniqueness, which is this 1 and 0 year, being balanced, being is grounding, okay? Because number, you have to think about what's next year at the 11 year, the 1 1, the power of the individual without the ego. But let's stay focused on now, all right? As they're trying to put people in the time machine, number 9, transformation. And when the focus is always on 1 and 0, bringing balance to that masculine, to that energy reflection of the mirror of you. There are many yous, there are many reflections of yous, there are so many. That's why that 1 and 0 go together so well. There are so many reflections of you, of us. We are all tiny little reflections of each other. Minuscule, small sectors, levels of one another. All of us here. That's how we're all uniquely connected. The 1 and the 0 being bound together in this year. That is what's going to bring the abundance. Not that going back into Frankenstein mode. We all have areas in this circular life where there's a Frankenstein mode in a level, okay? But that was in the past. Last year, we are focused. We are on 1s and 0s, okay? We're bringing that independence and we're bringing it infinitely. That independence can be seen through the mirror and it can be seen through reflections, through that infinite level, through all. So I was looking through my subscriber page yesterday, flipping through it like about 3 o'clock in the morning randomly, and was getting some pointers like, oh man, some of these people I've seen have been commenting. Some of them haven't. Some of them I do remember their comments for some reason. And then they all range from like if they got subscribers or not. I got, people who are subscribed who have thousands of subscribers, and I have people who are subscribed who have 0 and 5, 8 subscribers, and they all look different. So I'm like, yeah, that has always been my life. Always since kindergarten. I've always had a why they're like refraction of array of different kind of friends. And I was thinking, like, I remember more specifically in elementary school how many groups of different friends I had. And it would all depend on what day and what activity and or what was going on. But with that being said, I had to isolate myself. Like, was there one group of friends that I always was consistently with? And there was only one person in elementary school, right? That I can still recall that I was consistently with, that I would always secretly go and knock on her door and be with, that I can always feel myself being up. Anyway, should I say all that? Is because um, I was just thinking like the offset of all of like the people who are subscribed, or even the people I'm subscribed to, like on YouTube mainly, they're all just little levels and reflections of I am from all levels, personalities, and all little unique refractions of you and I, each, every person. So you remove the, okay, here we go with the languages. Okay, okay, that's going to solidify things. So when we remove the identities, race, class, gender, and all that shit, fuck shit, right? It has, really doesn't have any meaning when it's in the, when it's competitive, it has no meaning. But when you're looking at the collective of I, it is all unique to the individual. Because every purpose or moment of here, especially moving on in the one and zero, is unique. Any individual person or being like that has been born in this year in 2026, all right, it's going to be following like the number 10 year. Something else besides just being like little mini me's of each other, no matter how, you know, it's portrayed on social media, how we're all different. The difference is just like a small, thin line of difference in experience, thin little layer. So, yeah, I personally choose to work in both, in and out. So, if I talk about something that's solidified, that's because that is be it. And if I talk about something that's like in the background, we're referring to our ancestors, that be it too, because they're both always working like interchangeably at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I always be saying this, there's nothing that's more quicker than spirit anyway. So when you're working inside and outside, you're still going to be receiving the protection and the language when you are aware. So anyway, y'all, don't get trapped into this ripping and tearing and wrenching that's going on. I barely even turned on the TV. I just was looking at people, what they were talking about on social media, because, people love to keep you informed 100% all the time. What's going on social media. I just read the titles and I was like, oh, okay. That's the new news. I don't even have to go watch it. I can just read the title and read the energy. Abundance is still here. It's underway. It's always here. But more specifically, this new year and spring coming about. Today is March 1st. Do not allow them to bring void into your ancestry or represent your ancestors. Be the reflection, okay? Either you're going to be the resistance or you're going to be the pleasant. You're going to be both, but be the reflection of your ancestors today. All right, y'all. I'm about to like go watch Being Mary Jane or something. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, which is good. I want to do some readings with y'all. Let me just finish writing these other two essays. But I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye. Thanks all for hanging out. Let's see what you say. I can't read that. Oh, I can't read it. What is it saying? It doesn't say anything. All right, y'all. Good night.